To discuss question number 1913, which is minimum number of stops to make a string balance. So basically what we have a string given to us named S, and we have to return the minimum stop to make it a balanced string. So according to question, what is a balanced string? So in the question it is given either a string should be empty, like you shouldn't have anything in the string, so it is balanced, or either you should have, let me just check, A and B both are balanced. So it can be written as parts of balanced string, or it can be written as this, where C is a balanced string. So basically what this question is saying, like you have some string given and you have to make it a balanced string and you have to return the minimum number of stop. And a balanced string is nothing but just an opening bracket, and next the character should be a closing bracket. Like this is your balance string, and wait a second, let me just create some other string. Wait a second, like this. So this is your balance string. For example, this is not a balance string. Why? This is not a balance string. As simple as there is a closing bracket, but there is no opening bracket before this. So a closing bracket should always come after a opening bracket. So you know what's a balance string by now. So let's solve, or let's just hop in the problem. So as you can see, you have this string. What would be the minimum number of stops required? So as you can see here, this opening bracket is followed by a closing bracket here, or closing is just after opening. But as you see, there is a closing bracket, but before that there is no opening bracket. So what you have to do, you have to just swap it in a way that it becomes a balanced string. So you'll swap this here, as you can see. So opening will come here and closing will come here, and these two will remain as it is. Okay, as you see, you did one swap, so you'll return 1 as an output. Okay, so let's solve the second example, or let's just try to think using a second example. For example, you have string this. Okay, so what do you think, what will be the output? So let's just check. First of all, it is not balanced. As you can see, this closing bracket before this, there is no opening bracket. What should we do then? We should swap it. Or how you will swap, or where you will swap? You will swap f, like if you can get a opening bracket here, as you need an opening bracket, so you bring this here. Okay, so what it will turn into? So it will turn into this. Okay, you did one swap, so count is 1. Let's say count or C. So as you can see, simply this string, this part is balanced, this part automatically became balanced. Now we came here, then we saw this closing bracket. Before this closing bracket, there is no opening bracket, or you can see the count of opening bracket is less than the closing bracket. So what do you think? What should we do? We should go to a opening bracket and you should soften it. Okay, so you will do like this, and the remaining will be as it is. Count will be equals to 2. Okay, so what we are doing here basically, let me just rub it so you can think what we are doing in this question. And simply let me just give you another example of the same. So okay, as you can see, for example, number of closing bracket will keep the count, number of opening bracket, and output count, or you can say count is 0. So like you came here, So number of closing bracket count became from 0 to turn to 1. As you saw, count of closing bracket is greater than number of opening brackets. So what do we need? We need to swap. Up where you'll get the swapping character. So you'll go at the rightmost variable or the rightmost part of the string, and from there you'll search the opening bracket. If you got opening bracket, you will simply swap with this. Okay, swap it. So what this will turn into? This will turn into nothing but this string. And what you'll do is you'll do decrease the count of closing bracket as you'll increase the I here. So before this, you can see there is no closing bracket. So closing will again turn to from 1 to 0. Number of opening will increase 1 by, because if your I pointer is here, before this you are having opening bracket. As you dealt with the opening bracket, or before just I pointer, as we are here, you have opening bracket. So you just in your bag, or you can say in before this I pointer, you just have opening bracket, so you increase the count here. So the count changed from 0 to 1. You came here, this is opening bracket, so count will become 2. So you come here, closing bracket, count equals to 1. You will again come here, count is equals to 2 of closing bracket. So here it doesn't exceed the number of closing bracket, doesn't exceed the number of opening brackets. So we won't increase the count, or we won't change anything. And let me just give you a quick another example. You can say this was the other example that was given in the question. So let me just write number of open, number of close, count equals to 0. So okay, you came here, you can count number of closing bracket, change it to 1, but you saw number of closing bracket is greater than number of opening. So what you'll do is you'll just swap. Up here you'll swap, as I said, you'll go from the right hand side, you'll just look for opening bracket. So I pointer was here, J pointer was here, so you'll swap these two. You swap these two, it will become just like this. Okay, so what you'll do, you increase I here and J here. Okay, because this won't be open bracket, so you'll just come here. So then you'll check if this is a closing bracket or opening bracket. This is a closing bracket. Oh sorry, one more thing. As you came here, before this there is no closing bracket. Okay, you brought a opening bracket here. So what you'll do, you'll decrease the count of closing from 1 to 0, and as you have an opening bracket here before the I pointer, you increase the point or number of open bracket. Okay, nothing as such tricky. So what will we check? This is opening or closing? This is closing, no problem. 1. As you see, both are 1. If both are equal, you saw the string is balanced. If the string is balanced, count is equals to 0. The main problem, as I said, is when count of closing became more than opening. For example, if I comes here, this is opening or closing, you will see this is closing bracket, count will change from 1 to 2. But what is number of closing is greater than number of opening. So you thought, nah, I have to just swap it now. So what you'll do, you'll from J, you'll search a opening bracket. Okay, so you'll search, you'll come here, you find the opening bracket here. So we'll do just a simple swap here. Okay, count will increase to 2. Sorry, I didn't increase it, but yeah. And as you come here, so what you'll do, you will decrease the closing bracket size by 1, because if you see here, number of closing bracket here is this is the only closing bracket you can see, and this 2 are opening brackets, so you'll increase the number of opening brackets. So yeah, the main case was if number of closing bracket greater than number of opening, you will just perform a swap. I hope you understand. Let me take you coding part. One more thing I want to point out, there is a more solution. You can see there is a solution of a stack, but the main thing is you can think in a stack or using a stack, like whenever you have to balance a string or you have some parentheses, you can go for a stack approach or using a stack method. But in this I didn't like it because it was not very intuitive, you can say, as you have to just keep pushing, then you have to just, for this the answer will be ceil of size of stack, which is 6 by is 4.0, so it will return 2, which is the answer. It is giving answer, but main thing you have to tell your approach to the interviewer also, or you can say you have to think in a way that at the interview or any pressurized situation you can handle this question. So let's take you to the coding part.
Let me just explain you the question of the code is simply so if we commit the code, so you can see what we are doing. First here we are initializing variable to keep a track of number of closing brackets and number of opening brackets, and we are taking the size of the string into consideration. Then we are using a J pointer which will be at the last end of the string. You can see here, for example, this here, okay, and I will be here. So you are simply learning a for loop, and in there, if you have an opening bracket, you'll increase the count of opening bracket. Otherwise, you'll increase the count of closing bracket. And what was the main condition as I told? The condition was if number of closing brackets is greater than opening brackets, you'll just swap. So for example, here, number of opening brackets is 0, but number of closing brackets is 1. So this condition will true. Then what we are doing here in while loop is simply having a J pointer at the last. We are traversing till we find a opening bracket. As we find an opening bracket, we will exit this loop. We will swap these two. You can see here we swapped. Then what you do will increase count. Count is the number of swaps you are doing to make it balanced. So for example, you did one swap here, okay, here and here, first index, zero index and the last index, and your pointer I will come here. So as you can see, the number of opening brackets before this increased. For example, here just before this, number of opening brackets became 1, and number of closing bracket before this one index became 0, from 1 to 0. So what you'll do, you'll decrease the count of closing bracket and you'll increase the count of opening brackets. Okay, and simply you'll return the count. Let me just show you. This code is running. As you can see, this is running. So thank you for watching.
And subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye bye.
I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my